Everyone in the city knew Adrian Hale as the man whose heart was sealed behind steel doors. The young billionaire CEO built an empire by never allowing emotions to interfere with logic. But everything shifted the day he received a letter written in a shaky, childish handwriting. It arrived at his desk without a signature, tied with a pink ribbon and a tiny sticker of a smiling sun. Adrian almost tossed it aside, until he noticed a drop of dried tear on the corner. Something inside him froze. He slowly opened it, unaware that this fragile envelope would begin the unraveling of the life he so carefully controlled. The letter began softly. "Dear Mr., I hope you read this. Mommy says good people always do." Adrian paused, taken aback by the innocence. As he continued, each word weighed heavier than the one before. "My name is Lily. I am 7. I live at the Harmony Children's Home. I don't have much time left." His breath caught. Children wrote asking for donations all the time, yet something in Lily's words felt unbearably real, painfully honest. She wasn't asking for toys or money, she was asking for something else entirely. Something he didn't yet understand. Lily wrote about how she spent her days watching other kids play from her hospital bed because her heart was tired. She described nurses wheeling her outside twice a week so she could feel the sun on her face. "The sun feels warm," she wrote. "I like warm. It makes me feel less scared." Adrian found himself reading the line again and again. Fear wasn't something he acknowledged in his own life. He conquered markets, competition, entire industries, yet the fear of a dying child struck him with disarming clarity. Then came the part that made him set the letter down and stare at the wall. "I heard you help lots of people without telling them your name," Lily wrote. "So I want to ask for something. Not for me, but for my mommy." Adrian blinked, confused. Why would a dying little girl be thinking of her mother's happiness instead of her own? The letter continued. "Mommy cries when she thinks I'm sleeping. She thinks I don't see. When I go to heaven, she will be alone. So my wish is, can you help her smile again? Please." Adrian felt something pinch sharply in his chest. Lily never asked for a miracle for herself. She asked for her mother's heart to be protected after hers stopped beating. He leaned back, overwhelmed by an emotion he hadn't felt since childhood. Memories he buried long ago clawed at the edges of his composure, his own mother crying in a small apartment after his father died. He had wished someone could help her smile again, too. But no one came, and Adrian had hardened ever since. He reread the letter at least 5 times before calling his assistant. "Find Harmony Children's Home," he ordered. "And a girl named Lily." His voice came out lower, strained. His assistant stared. Adrian never involved himself personally in charity cases. But the urgency in his tone left no room for questioning. Within an hour, a car was ready, and Adrian was heading toward the outskirts of the city, where old brick buildings and narrow alleys replaced glass skyscrapers. Harmony Children's Home was smaller than he expected, painted in soft pastels that had faded over time. The inside smelled of disinfectant mixed with crayons. A nurse recognized him immediately, her eyes widening. "You're here for Lily," she whispered. Adrian nodded. She hesitated before speaking again. "She's asleep right now. She gets tired easily." He followed her down a hallway lined with children's drawings, flowers, suns, imaginary worlds. But Lily's drawing, taped near her door, was different, a lonely figure holding a letter. When Adrian stepped into the room, he saw her, a tiny girl curled under a blanket. Decorated with stars, her breathing was shallow, lips pale, but her expression peaceful. On the table beside her lay a notebook filled with more letters she never sent. As Adrian flipped through them, his chest tightened. In every letter, she wrote about her wishes for others, her mother, her caretakers, the kids at the home. Not once did she ask for anything for herself. The door opened softly, and a woman stepped inside. She froze when she saw Adrian. She had Lily's eyes, soft, hopeful, exhausted. "I'm her mother, Eva," she said quietly. He introduced himself, unsure how to explain why he was there. But Eva seemed to understand anyway. "Lily said someone would come," she whispered. "She believes in miracles." She touched her daughter's forehead gently. "I'm not as strong as she thinks. When she goes, I don't know how I will stay standing." Adrian's usual reply, cold, practical, detached, refused to form. Instead, he found himself asking about Lily's favorite things, her dreams, her fears. Eva spoke softly, sometimes breaking mid-sentence. She loves butterflies, she said. Says they carry pieces of heaven on their wings. Adrian listened, feeling a heaviness with every word. He'd faced hostile investors, courtrooms, brutal negotiations, but nothing compared to witnessing the fragile love between this mother and child. Over the next week, Adrian visited every day. Sometimes Lily was awake, sometimes she wasn't, but she always smiled when she saw him. "You came back," she said each time, as if genuinely surprised. She showed him her drawings and told him stories about a kingdom in the clouds where no one ever got sick. Adrian found himself rearranging his entire schedule just to spend an hour with her. The board was shocked, but Adrian didn't care. One afternoon, Lily asked him, "Do you know why I wrote to you?" Adrian shook his head. She giggled, a sound too fragile for a child. "Because you look lonely," she said. "Even on the news. Your eyes look like they forgot how to be happy." Adrian froze. How could a dying 7-year-old see through him more clearly than anyone else in his life? Lily gently took his hand. "Maybe if you help my mommy smile, your heart will smile too." Eva walked in just as Lily finished speaking. Her eyes softened seeing them together. "She's always been wise," Eva said quietly. "Sometimes I think she was sent to teach me more than I could ever teach her." Adrian watched Eva kiss Lily's forehead with trembling lips. The bond between them struck him with painful clarity. He had spent years believing love was a weakness. But here, love was the only thing keeping this small world together. That night, Adrian sat in his penthouse unable to think of anything except Lily's words. He opened her first letter again. The ink was smudged where her tears had fallen. "My wish is for my mommy to smile again," she had written. A simple wish, impossible and monumental at the same time. Adrian realized with a shock that he needed, to fulfill it. Not out of obligation, but because Lily had awakened something in him he never knew still existed. The next morning, Adrian arranged better medical care for Lily, discreetly pulling strings to get the best specialists. He funded repairs for the children's home, anonymously as always. But no amount of money could stop what was coming. Lily's condition worsened. She grew weaker, sleeping more than waking, her breaths faint like whispers. Eva rarely left her side. Adrian stayed too, sometimes sitting in silence, sometimes telling stories to fill the room with something other than fear. One evening, Lily opened her eyes and motioned for Adrian to come closer. "Did you help mommy smile yet?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Adrian swallowed hard. "I'm trying," he said honestly. "But she smiles when you're here," Lily whispered. "When I'm gone, she'll need someone." Adrian felt her tiny fingers curl around his. "Maybe that someone is you." Her words cut through him like a blade, sharp, pure, undeniable. Eva overheard, tears brimming. "Lily," she murmured, brushing her daughter's cheek. "You don't have to worry about me." Lily slowly shook her head. "I do. Mommy, you need someone to be your son when I can't." Adrian looked away, overwhelmed. He had no idea how to carry such a hope. How could he promise anything? Yet, the plea in Lily's eyes made him feel like failing her would be unforgivable. The next days blurred into each other. Doctors came and went quietly. Nurses adjusted machines with practiced sorrow. Adrian brought books to read aloud, though Lily often fell asleep after a few sentences. Eva held her daughter's hand with a kind of desperation no parent should ever feel. Adrian stayed close, helpless yet unable to leave. His empire, meetings, responsibilities, all of it faded behind the gravity of this small hospital room. Then, one morning, Lily asked for paper. Her hands trembled as she wrote something with slow effort. When she finished, she folded the page and placed it on her chest. "For you," she whispered to both of them. "Read it when I fall asleep." Adrian and Eva exchanged terrified glances. Lily smiled faintly. "Don't be sad. Heaven is warm, like sunshine." And then, as if drifting into a dream, she closed her eyes. Her breathing slowed, and eventually, stopped. The room froze in silence. Eva broke first, collapsing over her daughter's still form, her sobs raw and heart-shattering. Adrian stood motionless, his throat burning, his vision blurred despite his stubborn refusal to cry. He reached out, placing a trembling hand on Eva's shoulder. For the first time in years, he felt utterly human, fragile, grieving, unguarded. Lily had carried so much light, and now the room felt unbearably dark without her. Hours later, when Eva finally found the strength to sit up, Adrian handed her the folded note Lily left. "We should read it together," he whispered. They opened it slowly. Lily's handwriting was shaky but clear. "Dear Mommy and Mr. Adrian," it began. "Please don't be sad. I will be watching you. Mommy, you deserve to smile. Mr. Adrian, you can help her. I think you two can help each other not be lonely." Eva covered her mouth, breaking again. The letter continued. "Mommy, don't close your heart. Mr. Adrian is kind even if he forgot how to show it. He needs someone to remind him. And Mommy, you need someone to hold your hand when you miss me too much." Adrian closed his eyes, fighting tears. Lily had seen into him with impossible clarity. Her final wish wasn't just for her mother, it was for him too. After the funeral, Adrian stayed near Eva, not forcing, not insisting, just remaining present. Sometimes they shared stories of Lily, sometimes they sat in silence. Slowly, Eva began to see the man behind the cold exterior. She learned about his childhood, his mother, his loneliness. He, in turn, learned how she had raised Lily alone, how every breath she took now felt like walking through an ocean of grief. Their pain, though different, connected them. Weeks turned into months. Adrian funded a garden at the children's home, dedicating it to Lily. When the first butterflies appeared, Eva cried softly, whispering that Lily would have loved it. Adrian stood beside her, feeling something unfamiliar, a gentleness returning to his soul. Every moment he spent with Eva felt like honoring Lily's wish. It wasn't romantic at first. It wasn't forced. It was healing. Two hearts learning to beat again. One crisp afternoon, as they walked through the butterfly garden, Eva suddenly stopped. "Adrian," she said, her voice soft, "I think Lily was right." He looked at her quietly. She continued, "We don't have to be alone. Not anymore." He felt her hand slip into his, hesitant, trembling, but real. Adrian closed his fingers around hers. For the first time in years, his chest felt lighter. Like a door he welded shut had finally opened. From that day forward, they built something fragile but beautiful. They kept Lily's drawings framed in the home, visited her favorite places, celebrated her birthday each year with the children. Adrian, once frozen by grief he never admitted, learned how to laugh again. Eva learned how to breathe without breaking. Their bond was not born from replacing Lily's love but from honoring it. One evening, as they stood together watching the sunset over the garden, Eva whispered, "She gave us each other." Adrian nodded, his voice thick. "She was braver than anyone I've ever known." They watched butterflies rise into the warm light, their wings catching the colors of the sky. It felt like Lily was there, soft, gentle, guiding them still. The world no longer felt as lonely. Adrian later placed Lily's first letter into a small glass case on his desk, not as a reminder of sorrow, but of the day his life changed. Her final wish hadn't shattered his world as he feared. It had rebuilt it, slowly, painfully, beautifully. And every time he looked at that letter, he whispered the same promise, "Lily, I will take care of her. And I will live with the heart you helped me find." That promise became the beginning of a new chapter, one written not from power, but from love.